This is our findings from the U.S. border crossings data from Kaggle. We started by using the U drive to obtain this data. Then we could import the data with the read CSV command. Our main problem was how big the data set was. With it being so large, we decided to filter the data to look only at the US-Mexico border. Then we separated the dates by month, day, and year to make them easier to sort through. We also converted the months from numbers to their names and assigned them to their appropriate seasons. After tying the data, we're able to start looking through it. From this linear regression, you can see the number of border crossings went down between the years 1996 to 2020, with the number of border crossings peaking around 2000 and going down and back up from 2011 to 2015, then significantly decreasing. One can infer that border crossings decreased after 2000 because in 2001 there was a terrorist attack on September 11th, and according to Campbell, the establishment of the Department of Homeland Security in 2002 consolidated multiple agencies, including U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and the U.S. Coast Guard to enhance national security. You can also see the slope decreasing more significantly after 2006, which Campbell goes on to explain that the U.S.-Mexico border in particular became a key area of concern, leading to the Secure Fence Act of 2006, which aimed to construct extensive fencing along the border. This explains why there is a significant decrease after 2006. You can also see border crossings went significantly down in 2016, which is the year Donald Trump became the President of the United States, making it his goal to decrease Mexican immigrants, going as far as wanting to build a wall across the U.S. border. This would explain why there is a significant decrease after 2016. From this graph, you can see Texas has the most amount of border crossings, with most of the dots being purple. But you can also see that many of the dots with higher values are green for California. This could have to do with California being known for vacationing, since they have many beaches. Toropedia even ranks California as the top state to visit because of their many water parks and Disneyland Park. Looking at this graph, you can see that the listed modes of transportation are all consistently used in all 4 states. The only slight variance is that in New Mexico, you can see that trains, train passengers, rail containers full, and rail containers empty were used slightly less than the other modes of transportation, with the dot being slightly smaller. From this graph, you can see that March, April, June, July, and August are the months with the highest number of border crossings, with Texas and California accounting for the majority of them. Upon further investigation, you can see the seasons with the most border crossings occurred in spring and summer, which goes along with the months I said had the most border crossings in the other graph. You can also see that the least border crossings occurred in fall. This makes sense because vacationing is more popular in the spring and summer, since there is usually warmer weather. You can also see more clearly that throughout all seasons, Texas consistently has the most border crossings, followed by California, then Arizona, and with the fewest being New Mexico. Looking at this graph, you can see that Texas's ports are used the most, followed by California, with the amount of people varying more compared to Texas. You can also see that both Arizona and New Mexico, who both have lower border crossings, also have lower amounts of people when there are border crossings. Upon further investigation, I found this map, where you can see California and Arizona both have 6 ports, New Mexico has 3, and Texas has 10. You can also see that Texas has the majority of the U.S.'s border with Mexico, so it makes sense that they have the most ports. Arizona shares the second largest part of the U.S.-Mexico border, so it makes sense that it gets 6 ports, but California also has 6 ports despite the fact it shares the same amount of border as New Mexico, who only has 3 ports. This probably has to do with California being one of the top vacation spots in the U.S., as I mentioned earlier. With that in mind, this graph makes more sense. New Mexico has a smaller number of border crossings because they have fewer ports, and Texas has the most number of border crossings because they have so many ports, and they take over the majority of the US-Mexico border. For further investigation of the US-Mexico border, having more explanatory values would be useful, like recording different groups' reasons for crossing the border, and also including more demographic variables about the different groups. And here is my works cited.